Really good writing but sad main character. Mentally messed up main character with very good writing. But hi guys, my name is Isabel and I am the creator behind cafe.studyy, and today what we're going to do is we're going to do a Q&A with all the questions that you guys submitted from Instagram and YouTube. So to start off, we're going to do the hobbies, so like the fun type of questions. And so the first question in the hobbies section is, who is your ultimate bias / favorite K-pop group at the moment? So my favorite K-pop group at the moment is 17. If you guys have been on my Instagram, you probably know that. I listened to 17 a lot in middle / high school and then took a break. But then in my second year of college, when the Attack album came out, it got me back into 17. And also I got back into watching and catching up on the Go Say episodes, the Going 17 variety show that they host, and it's been really fun. I really like the way that the group's dynamic works. Their type of humor is very natural and not forced at all, and I really like how they seem like a family more so than just a group of people that work together to make music. And yeah, it's just really fun and relaxing for me to watch. My bias in 17 right now is between Hoshi and Wonwoo, so I'll just say both. So yeah, it's Hoshi and Wonwoo. The next question kind of goes along with this, but it's, what is your favorite Go Say episode? So all of the Going 17 episodes are really funny, and I think you should definitely check them out. But the ones that made me laugh the hardest were definitely the Don't Lie episodes. The whole series is really funny. And then also the Insomnia series. By a very close margin, it's Mouse Busters as well. And so moving on, what's your favorite movie or TV show? For movie, there's two different categories I'd base it on. So first of all, if it was based on the sheer amount of tears that I shed, it would definitely be Demon Slayer Mugen Train. I cried 5 or 6 times throughout the whole movie, and that was the first time I ever cried in public in a while. But it was okay because I was crying, but then I think my friends were also crying too, so it was fine. For the movie, if I based it on the amount of times I watched, then my favorite movie would probably be this movie called The Witch Part 1, which is a Korean movie actually by one of my favorite actresses. I can't remember her name right now.
Hello, editing Isabel here to say that filming Isabel is a dumbass, and the actress's name is Kim Da-mi, and she also plays one of the main characters in the really popular drama Itaewon Class, as well as the ongoing drama Our Beautiful Summer, along with her fellow cast member Choi Woo-shik, who is also in The Witch, and also most known for his role in playing the son in Parasite. Okay, now back to the slightly more goofy filming me.
In a TV show, I'm gonna assume that counts K-dramas because I don't watch that much American TV. So for K-dramas, my favorite K-drama is definitely Sky Castle.
Hi, filming Isabel didn't make the cut again, so here I am to further elaborate on Sky Castle. Sky Castle is probably, in my opinion, one of the best dramas ever made. It's a satirical social commentary about how parents will do anything to basically get their children to achieve the top ranks of university in Korea, and it really addresses a lot of very problematic issues in the topics of education as well as social status, not only in Korea but also other Asian countries and the entire world in general. And I think it's a really important drama to watch for anyone who's in school. Actually, anyone at all could honestly benefit to learn or at least be entertained by this drama, since it has its funny moments as well. Yeah, basically I just think it's a mastery of cinema, honestly, and I kind of want to rewatch it.
The next questions are related to Genshin, so I'll just kind of group them all in a category. What's your favorite character in Genshin? So I'll say story-wise, my favorite characters are definitely Albedo and Kaya, because I think they have really interesting roles in the main lore of Genshin. And then for favorite character, as in favorite character to play, I'll definitely say Hu Tao, because I think her playstyle is really fun. And yeah, favorite boss in Genshin is I don't know, it's kind of, I never really thought about that, but I think it'll be Senora just because she's really pretty. For the last hobbies question, it was like, what are your favorite stores to shop at? It's probably just Cotton On that I shop at a lot lately, and then Uniqlo is probably the other one. So, because I tend to wear I like pretty basic styles, and Cotton On and Uniqlo both have really comfy basics. The next is like just basic about me stuff. The first question is, what is your age and what is your zodiac? And I am 19. I'm in my second year of college in the United States, which is also called sophomore year of college. For zodiac, I'm a Capricorn sun and a Sagittarius moon. That's all I know. I don't remember what the other things I am are. If I remember to add it, I'll like add it here, probably somewhere. If you could have one food for the rest of your life, what would it be? I feel like I would get sick of it either way, no matter what it would be, so I guess I'll just play it safe and say dumplings because there's a large variety of those. If it wasn't dumplings, I'd probably say noodles or some other kind of Chinese flour-based food. It'd probably be what I'd say. And then for your I got questions on like personality types and stuff. So for the MBTI, the last time I took it, I was an ISFJ. But I don't really know that all of the qualities of that describe me. Then again, I don't think anything in the MBTI really perfectly describes somebody because there's only 16 of them. Yeah, I could go on a whole rant about MBTI, but this video would be too long. So, for the Pottermore, so the Harry Potter house, I was a Slytherin the last 3 times I took it. I remember me and my friends would make like multiple accounts, like just to figure out what house we would get even if we answered different things. What state would you live in if Texas one day just disappeared? So if you guys didn't know, I do live in Texas and I do go to school in Texas. I feel like I would live in either Washington or New York. I really like the bustling city aspect of New York City. I feel like there would be like a fun thing to do every day and a lot of fun places to explore, like cafes and bookstores, just like little tiny corner places. That'd be cool. But then I also feel like for Washington would be a really nice place to live because of all like the greenery and nature. So like I have family that lives in Portland, which is not Washington, I know, but like Washington, it's similar, it's like close by. Yeah, every time we visit, it's like always like, because we live in Texas, right? So it's always really unused to like just how much green stuff there is, the sheer amount of like trees and forests and mountains in Washington. I feel like that'd be just a really different, cool place to live. So now we're moving on to college/study advice. So the first question is, how do you balance school with other life stuff and hobbies? Okay, I have a serious answer and a not really serious answer. So the serious answer is that you should generally have some kind of to-do list or daily plan for each day. And even if you don't end up completing all of it, usually you still end up getting more stuff done than if you hadn't made a plan at all. And then when you're making your list, also, it's a good tip to prioritize, like divide the tasks between things that need to be done and also things that don't really need to be done that day or take longer or are more long-term, or yeah, they're just like not as important. The not serious answer is just that I don't sleep that much. For YouTube, also in particular, I generally tend to split up my editing sessions now between multiple days. Like for example, like the vlogs that I usually do, like for example, like a college study diaries video. Those videos take a long time because they're filmed over generally days and weeks. So there's just a lot of content to just sit through and just cut, and it's very tedious. So I couldn't do it in one edit session because that would just be so mentally draining. And then, so what I do instead is I generally will like do, for example, like 2 hours of schoolwork, and then I'll do some editing, and then I'll like play some games, and then I'll go back to schoolwork and kind of cycle through it just so I'm not like doing one thing for too long, if that makes sense. And that way you can kind of get to everything while also not like burning yourself out. I feel like I'm not much better at expressing myself when I'm like writing than when I'm speaking, but I'll get better at that, I think. And then the next question is, how do you make friends in uni? So there's not really like my way is the only way for this question, but personally for me, the best thing I found for making friends was to join clubs. Specifically for me, it was this one club called CSA at my school, which stands for Chinese Student Association, which is where I made most of my current friends, as well as in my classes, since you already have similar coursework at that point, so you already have something in common just by existing and being in that class. So it's very easy personally for me to have something to talk about because you're already like in that class together. Outside of that, if you're into sports, you could join your school's tennis or basketball or those kind of clubs. And then I guess, yeah, the main thing is just finding what you enjoy at your school and then figuring out if there's a community based on, and then that's how you can make friends. Yay! Also, in order to find people that share your interests, you have to kind of be a little bit brave about making your interests known. But if you don't want to just like stand on a podium, obviously just yell your interest. I mean, most people don't, at least. So subtle ways could be like, for example, I'm like really into genshin. If I had genshin keychains, I would like put them in my backpack. So like someone sees that and like, oh, she's into genshin. I'm gonna cut this probably. The next question is, what is your current major and what are your future plans? So I'm currently a neuroscience major with a psych minor, and I'm currently doing the pre-med track, but I am open / considering other pre-health tracks at the moment. Like pre-PA is an option and pre-dental is also another option. I still have like a bit of time to consider, so yeah. Hopefully I figure that out soon, but we'll see. The next question is, what are your best study tips? I feel like I've basically mentioned my best study tips in other videos, so it'll be kind of redundant. The first tip is to prioritize practice problems over lectures. That's like something I found like really helpful, especially in university when there's a lot of content, or any course where there's just a bunch of content and you're kind of like overwhelmed like what to study. My best tip is not to like, don't focus on lectures so much, since that's just repeating the material and like kind of passively listening to it. A better way to like test yourself on if you actually know the material or not is just to put it into practice. So if it's more of a liberal arts class, so like an English class, a history class, I suggest definitely looking at like past essay questions, past test questions, things like that to practice. And if it's something like STEM heavy like chemistry or any math class, you definitely just need to do practice problem sets over and over. As uncomfortable as that is, it's literally the best way to learn. The fact that it is uncomfortable means that it takes you more effort, therefore you're gonna remember it better. Another tip I found really helped me, especially this past semester, is when I was very lacking in motivation to study for some of my exams, the best way to get myself to study was to find accountability. And this was either through recording myself, like with the camera or something else, and then looking back on it, you could be like, wow, I studied so much. Another way to find accountability is to study in public, so like a study space like a library or a quiet coffee shop that you won't get distracted with, but also you'll be surrounded by people that it feels kind of bad to like, for example, at a library, just like start watching YouTube when everyone else is like studying around you. So like that's another way. And then the third way is to study with friends who won't distract you. What is your main goal for next semester or the next year? So my main goals / quote unquote resolutions, I don't really like resolutions. I guess my main goals are to not overthink things so much. So I feel like in 2021, I just was so worried about so many other things that were beyond my control realistically, and ended up being not that big of a deal. So, and I kind of want to just, not worry so much. Live more in the moment, and try not to restrict myself so much on what I can and can't do, and just try not to give up before like I even start, if that makes sense. And then another goal I have is to be more consistent in studying after lectures and kind of early on in the school year before exams are like right on top of me, so there's not so much catching up to do that I had like kind of like I had to do the previous semester because I kind of slacked on some material. Whoops. Let me just scroll down. I'm like looking at the questions on my computer, so this is why. This is what I'm doing here. These are just miscellaneous questions. The first question is, how do you deal with stress? Do you prefer talking to friends, journaling, playing games, or whatever? Last semester, I definitely stress cooked a lot when I was like overwhelmed with school. It was usually school. Over on the school or YouTube, I would usually just start cooking. It's kind of like a mindless activity with not a lot of structure or rules as compared to my classes and studying. So yeah, I do generally do things that are very separate or very much the opposite of whatever I'm doing in school. The next question is, what are your favorites of 2021? I guess just reading as a hobby again has been really nice this year, especially during the summer is when I kind of got into things like book talk, and booktube started being a huge thing I think over the summer. Maybe I just got into it during the summer, but channels like Jack Edwards' channel I really enjoy, and also Uncarly, which I think I've shown in one of my videos. That's it, but I feel like I'm forgetting some channels. On this topic, my favorite books of 2021 so far have been Normal People by Sally Rooney, which I read and absolutely loved. I don't think my review on Goodreads did that justice, but I definitely mentioned that in a past video, I think. That one, and also the book that I'm currently reading right now is really good. It's like taking me a long time to read because it's so dense, but like this book is so good. I tend to really like sad content these days, like sad main character who does dumb stuff, but the writing is really good. If that's a category, I like that category. Outside of books, for anime, definitely it's been Jujutsu Kaisen and Haikyuu, and then like I mentioned before, it was like now I'm definitely way back into my 17 phase from high school. Oh, for YouTube channels that I've recently been watching, other than the booktubes that I mentioned earlier, I've also been really liking commentary videos. So there was channels like Curtis Connor, Drew Gooden, Danny Gonzalez. I like all of those videos just because they make me laugh. Anyway, I just like putting those videos like in the background if I'm like playing games or something. Oh, for games, I guess 2021 was definitely like a big gaming year for me. Like Genshin was like the first game that I've ever spent that much time on. Usually like after a month of playing a game, I tend to get bored and I usually just delete it because I get bored, because I'm like far enough into the game content that I kind of don't feel like the excitement of progress anymore. But for Genshin, it's actually surprisingly been really fun, like consistently. Sometimes there's been weeks during the school year where I don't play at all because of school or because I feel burnt out, but also it's a game that I can come back to anytime, and that's nice because there's definitely enough updates to keep me interested. For the final question, it's where did your YouTube channel name come from? And this is actually a super old username that I originally used when I was running my study blur, which is like your study Tumblr account, which was how I first got into the study community. I think 2016, maybe earlier than that. 2015 or 2016 is when I started the study blur, because I don't know why I like downloaded Tumblr. Tumblr was a big thing in 2015, like when I was in middle school, I think. And then I discovered the study blur community on Tumblr and I really liked that. So then I made an account with the username cafe.studyy, which I don't even know why that was my username. I think I just thought it sounded nice. But yeah, I just kept that when I started my Instagram, my studygram. And then when I was trying to come up with the YouTube channel name, I just couldn't think of anything else. So I just kept cafe.studyy as like my username and I haven't changed it since. I feel like I've debated changing it to my real name a couple times, but then I feel like it's so much part of my brand. Like cafe.studyy is so much part of my brand, and my channel's been there for such a long time with this name. I don't want to confuse people like who are newly coming to the channel or have just discovered the channel and then I change my name and they can't find it anymore. Yeah. So I think that's all the questions I'm gonna do for this video. And I think I got to most of them. If I didn't get to your question, I'm very sorry. You can definitely shoot me a DM if you just like are really curious and you want to know, or you can just wait till the next Q&A video that I inevitably do. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!